Hey, lovelies. Welcome back to Nelly Mae's Love Stories. On today's story, an estranged Korean CEO was forced into marriage to his late brother's fiancée. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this story.
The marble floors of Park Enterprises' Seoul headquarters reflected everything: the chandelier light, the nervous faces of board members, and the fury radiating off Park Juntae like a physical thing. He stood at the head of the glass conference table in a midnight black brioni suit, his jaw locked, his dark eyes scanning the document in front of him like it was written in a language designed specifically to insult him. It was Clause 14, subsection B, his grandfather's lawyer said carefully, adjusting his glasses. The late Park Seo-jin's estate, including his 40% share in Park Enterprises, transfers to his fiancée upon his death, unless she marries a Park male within 1 year of his passing. Silence. The kind of silence that precedes earthquakes. She has 6 months remaining, the lawyer added, as if Juntae hadn't heard him the first time. Which means? I know what it means. Juntae's voice came out measured, controlled. The voice of a man who'd spent a decade building walls so high around himself that even his own reflection couldn't reach him. He set the document down. Straightened his cufflinks, platinum engraved with a Park family crest. A habit. Something to do with his hands, so he didn't put them through the window. Find her, he said. Whoever she is. His assistant, Mireille, hesitated at the door. Sir. We already know who she is. Then why are you still standing there? Mireille slid a thin folder across the table. Juntae didn't open it. He stared at it for a moment the way you stare at something you're not sure you want to know. Then he flipped it open. And the world just slightly shifted under his feet. The photograph was clearly taken mid-performance. A stage. Spotlights. And a woman caught between one breath and the next, her arms extended, her body angled with the kind of precision that only years of obsessive practice could produce. She was wearing a deep gold costume that caught the light like she'd been dipped in it, and her face, God, her face, was tilted upward with an expression that made you feel like you were interrupting something private. Something sacred. She was the most beautiful woman Juntae had ever seen in his life. He closed the folder. Schedule a meeting, he said flatly. I'll handle this myself. What he didn't say, what he would never say out loud in this room full of lawyers and board members and inherited expectations, was that his hands were no longer steady. 3 months earlier, Matilda Grace Johnson, Tilda to everyone who loved her, had been standing in the middle of a dance studio in Charleston, South Carolina, counting beats in her head so loud she almost didn't hear her phone ring. Almost. She saw Seo-jin's name and smiled the way only people who are genuinely, quietly in love smile. Not the performance of it. The real thing. You're supposed to be in Tokyo, she said by way of greeting. I am in Tokyo, Seo-jin said, and she could hear the smile in his voice even through the static. I'm also looking at engagement rings online and I need your opinion. Seo-jin. Not the proposal. That's already planned. You know I don't do anything halfway. I just want to know, do you prefer oval or round? For research purposes. Tilda laughed and sat down on the studio floor, her point shoes still on, her reflection staring back at her from the mirror wall. You're impossible. You love it. She did. She absolutely did. Park Seo-jin had come into her life 2 years ago at a cultural exchange gala in New York City where she'd been performing with her dance company, and he'd been there on behalf of his family's corporation. Bored, clearly, in a room full of people who wanted something from him. He'd watched her performance from the side of the room with his jacket off and his arms crossed, and when it was over he'd walked straight past 3 socialites trying to get his attention and stopped in front of her and said, in perfectly accented English, I've never seen anyone move like they were arguing with gravity before. It was the most original thing anyone had ever said to her. 3 months of long-distance phone calls and weekend flights and then, inevitably, naturally, the way water finds its way downhill, love. He was the younger Park brother. The good one, people said, though Tilda had never met the other one. Juntae was a name she knew the same way you know the name of a mountain. Something large and distant and requiring specialized equipment to approach. He and I don't talk, Seo-jin had told her once carefully, the way you hold a bruise without pressing it. It's complicated. She hadn't pushed. She'd learned, with Seo-jin, when to hold space instead of asking questions. Come to Seoul, he said now, over the phone from Tokyo. For the showcase. I want to see you perform here. I want to show you this city the way I see it. Seo-jin, I have rehearsals. Tilda. The way he said her name. Like it was important. Like it meant something specific only to him. Okay, she said. Okay, I'll come. She booked her flight the next morning. She never saw him again. The accident happened on the highway between Tokyo and Hakone, a road known for its mountain curves and its views of Fuji and, on certain nights, its danger. Tilda was in the air when it happened. Somewhere over the Pacific, reading a novel, sipping bad airline tea, thinking about what she'd wear when she landed because Seojin always noticed her clothes and always had something to say about them. She landed in Seoul to 17 missed calls. The last one was from a number she didn't recognize, a Korean country code, a Seoul prefix. She called it back with a feeling she didn't want a name gathering in her chest like weather. The man who answered spoke Korean first, then English when she couldn't respond fast enough. Miss Johnson. My name is Kim Hyun-soo. I am the attorney for the Park family. I'm sorry to tell you. She sat down. Somewhere between the baggage carousel and the sliding exit doors of Incheon International Airport, with her suitcase still going around and around on the belt behind her, she sat down on the floor and let the words come. Gone. He was gone. On a road in Japan, in the rain, in a car that would never have been on that road if he hadn't been trying to get back to meet her. She sat on that airport floor for 40 minutes. Nobody stopped. Seoul moved around her like water around a stone. Tilda had not gone back to South Carolina. This surprised everyone who knew her, including herself. But something about leaving Seoul felt like abandoning the last place she'd been real, the last place where Seojin had known she was coming. So she'd rented a small apartment in Mapogu, found a position teaching dance at a private art studio, and spent 6 months rebuilding herself from the inside out with the specific, quiet determination of someone who has decided that grief will not be the last thing written about her. She wore color. Deliberately. Violently. When everything inside felt gray, she put on a burnt orange wrap dress and gold earrings and walked to the Han River and sat there until the feeling passed. She ate well. She danced every day even when it hurt, especially when it hurt because the body knows things the mind can't process. She did not think about the will. She'd been informed of it, of course. Park family lawyers in expensive suits who'd come to the studio during her break, speaking carefully, explaining that Seojin had included her in his estate planning in a way that was now creating a situation. She told them politely to leave.